So here is the November 2025 update from Project Vanguard. So we finished up our Texas tour this past month, swinging through Sweetwater, San Angelo, and El Campo. So we got some really great stories. You might have seen some of the videos online. We're going to have a big wrap-up video that we're just waiting for final approvals on. That should happen this week, and that'll be up there. We now have a page on our website, projectvanguard.com/tours, where we're going to showcase all this information, the wrap-up of this 6-week pilot event. And so, really what we're trying to do is pull out all the veterans, the landowners, and the energy workers in these districts to really build up this grassroots capacity, while also doing some grass tops engagement through site tours with chambers, local elected officials, state elected officials. And so we had a lot of success, learned a lot in the process, and we're going to do this again next year. So we'll have a sign-up form on that webpage, and you can sign up there. The other big thing is we kicked up our Community Leader Fellowship. So we have 30 folks that have signed up now. We'll be taking rolling applications through the year, and these are folks that have been really successful professionals in the industry, military veterans and spouses, and we're going to help amplify their voices, get them onto more earned media. Right now we're building out a speakers bureau so people can learn more about them and request to have them on panels, podcasts based on their domain, their industry, their background, what they're working on right now. And that'll all be on the website as well. So the speakers bureau will just going to be how we introduce them next week if we don't get that done today. And that'll just be a great way to amplify those voices. So our goal is to really ramp up their reach, access, and the awareness in the market utilizing these amazing folks from our community. We'll also be doing things like executive roundtables with industry leaders that are private for them, Chatham House rules, not recorded. So that's going to be exciting, and these are the folks that are going to lead a lot of our state chapter work as we continue to grow and look to double the work that we've already done this year. So for Veterans Day, I was able to go speak with the Orsted Military Veterans Group and just kind of talk about the importance of authentic, messengers like veterans and how our voices can really reshape the narrative in this industry and make it more bipartisan, but also just get more things done, which is, what we're all about. Veteran careers, all the above, and energy security. And with that in mind, I went to Louisiana, thanks to Monico with GS-RIA, and we were able to moderate a panel on manufacturing in the state of Louisiana, and then have a private roundtable with the Senate president. So that was really great. He made some amazing points on, listen, this can't be an anti-oil and gas message. If that's your message, just pack your bags. It's not going to work. But if you can have a message that's more focused on what's good and what's interesting for the state, jobs, the economics, power, speed to market. Well, those are great things. We just got to have the right messengers. So really hit with what our message is as well. So it really resonated. So we're going to go through a quick review of last month. We'll talk about what we have coming up in the next 90 days, and then we'll talk about our goal progress for the long term, and then we'll have the same next steps that you can get involved with on the last slide. If you want the PDF, you can download it. We're going to try uploading this to YouTube, so you should be watching it there, and we'll have that in the comments for you to download. And then next month, we'll just do a wrap-up of 2025. Okay, so these are all our metrics. We got one podcast episode out with Marcy over at EVgo. She did great. And then I was a guest on the America First Energy podcast for Energy Right, really just explaining what Project Vanguard is, all our normal talking points. One of the interesting things on our top social post this month, so 38,000 social impressions is a lot for us. It beats out our highest organic post over the summer. And that's off of $100 of boosting. It was something that we were pushed by a contractor. Thanks, Becca, for, pushing us to do that. And, we saw some impressive metrics for a relatively low investment. So one of the go-forwards that we've learned from that is to take probably $100, $200 a month, and just boost, whatever our best post is, to increase traction and, try to especially focus on ones that can drive towards, those calls to action that increase our conversions and things on subscribers, things like that, to increase our message awareness. So on the events, you can see the Sweetwater, St. Angelo, the Asciona solar site in the bottom right. That was in El Campo. Those are all the vets that were out there for that day, across ACP, Project Vanguard, Asciona, and RES. We also had a meet and greet hosted by our one of our North Carolina community leaders, Greg Gebhardt, with Cypress Creek Renewables, not the CCR of my heart from my childhood, but another good CCR. And so you're going to see more things like that. And, what we really want to do when we're doing these networking events, we're challenging our community leaders to run quarterly networking events in their chapter areas. But the best place is to host them at a company. Listen, we don't have a big food and beverage budget, so being able to go on site with a company and also drive, some workforce appeal, some community awareness, is an opportunity for everybody to win. So those are some of the things we're really looking at. On the workforce side, it looks like things have slowed down a little bit in the jobs channel. So that central one is an RWE post by Tony. I know Sam posted the Nova Source, and Adam was posting about Last Energy. So, make sure to keep those coming if you have opportunities. I know things are slowing down now towards the end of the year. Everything just kind of dies off after Thanksgiving. But if you have those opportunities, make sure to put them there. We're still pushing people there, and that's our most active channel in the Slack community. And if you're watching this, you're not part of the Slack community, you just need to go to projectvanguard.com. And when you sign up, either to become a member or to volunteer, you'll get an automatic invite. If you volunteer, you go into our advocate map that we will use for activations. If you're just a member, you're really just signing up for the newsletter. And now you have to get this. You don't have to watch it. You're going to get it. Okay. The Texas tour video will be going out. This is an earlier version. We'll have a new one that'll come out on the PDF that gets posted. All right. The Texas tour complete. All sites done. Bring folks out. Nothing more to bring up here. We've already talked about the Texas tour. We've talked about Louisiana a bit. That conference. Also, Jimmy Supple, one of our community leaders for Louisiana, had an op-ed written that was published supporting the industry in state. And then I wrote a letter of support for a Baytown project, a battery storage project that got approved east of Houston. So, these are a lot of times when we look at our advocate map, those are the folks I'm going to tap for LTs, letters to the editor, op-eds, things like that. All right, what's coming up? So we've got some more activities in Putnam County in Illinois. Chuck Rippey is going to be running that. He's our guy in the Midwest who's running all these project support activities. We still have the coffee chats. So if you go into Slack, go to #coffee. Every Friday at 10, it'll assign you with somebody that's also in that channel. You don't have to be present. It'll just send you a notification. Hey, you should meet up with these people. It's been something that's been great for me because it just reconnects me with people I already knew or new members to the organization. It's an easy way to just kind of force function yourself into peer networking if that's not something you really want to do. In January, we'll do the Latitude Media Conference here in Houston. So we'll have a happy hour set up around that. And then Mike Dunn, our DC chapter lead, he is going to be speaking at the Advanced Energy United Summit this month. And later this week or next week, we're going to be doing media training with Clean Energy for America. And that'll be something for our community leaders. I think they've opened it up to a couple other folks. So if you click the link there, you can find it. And that's really going to be, me, Alyssa, and I think Maureen talking about, how you can engage, how to be better presence when you're doing any media interviews or for written op-eds, things like that. Just things to kind of give you a baseline media training. Okay, long term. So this is the first month where our member growth and our Slack user growth were the same. So I'm really hoping that we've finally broken it where people are actually accepting the Slack invites once they've signed up, and we're doing that. For a while there, we get more members than we were getting Slack users, and then once Slack started taking off, we were getting more Slack users than members. So if you joined and you're like, wait, I didn't get an invite, or I lost it, or it timed out for some reason, just email me or Gabby, and we can get you a new one in there. Hoping that we still get our follower count up to our goal. At this pace, we should be able to close it out this month, and that'll set us up for next year. On the advocate front, and advocates are just all of our, folks that have signed up to volunteer. We are going to be looking at doubling all of this basically next year in 2026. So, we had a huge lift at the beginning of the year because of just the organic network that I'd brought in from the last 5 or 6 years of networking in the industry. And now that we've been building the infrastructure the last couple of months, things had slowed down, plus with the tour, things like that. But it's really going to ramp up. So we'll have our 2026 calendar of events coming out. Things are going to be a lot better prepped. If you are interested in being a part of one of those planning committees for RE+, for Clean Power, for OMS, for siting, for anything that's going to be going on in the industry, and if we don't have something listed and you want, Project Vanguard presence there, maybe you can be in charge of that. Reach out, let us know. We'd love to have you participate, because next time we get one of these free booths and things like that, we really want to make sure that we're not just going there and sitting there. We're making meetings. We know where we want to go drop stuff off. We know who we want to invite. We want to have these discussions and maximize our time on site at these conferences. Schedule vet happy hours, and if you're, feeling extra salty, you can set up a 5K. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, but we're excited to have things planned out a lot further in advance. Our first year was really just a bunch of pilots. It was kind of like fishing with a net. Sometimes we pulled in some trash, and this year we're really, fishing with bait at the right place at the right time. So, this is the year that we really want to start professionalizing, systematizing, and making things way more predictable and less reactive than they were the last year. I'm not going to go in too far on this. On mobilization, I got to dial in a little bit more on that. The big thing that I'm going to need help with, if you're watching this, is Oklahoma and Nebraska. So I know those aren't on the list, but they've gotten onto my plate lately. And so those are, especially Oklahoma, I've just really struggled with some intentional outreach. So if you've got military veteran connections in the industry, those would be great introductions for me, and you can just send them to me at any time. So again, if you sign up as a volunteer, this is the map you go on. It's a Google map layer. The link is in the PDF. You can see it in the bottom right. And then it maps out with the megaphones where the community leaders are. But this lets me help when somebody from Tennessee goes, hey, do you got a guy or gal here that can talk on X? And so it's anonymized. We don't share your name or contact information, but what it tells people is that we've got somebody there and a couple of key message points based on your background that we can put on there. It doesn't tip off who you are, but it lets other folks, media outlets and things like that, it just accelerates them being able to collaborate and work with us. So next steps, sign up a friend. If you're watching this and you're not signed up, go sign up. It's vets, it's spouses, it's military supporters. We love to have you all involved. Recruit advocates. We really want to keep filling up that map that we just showed. Host an event. Even if you're not a member and you're like, hey, we would love to participate in some way, just reach out to us, let us know. And go to that #coffee channel if you're in Slack and just join. Once you join the channel, which is open, you'll be added into that. And that helps not just, if you say, well, I don't need to meet anybody. Well, there might be people that want to meet you or need to meet someone in your industry. So going in there and making yourself available, you can schedule it whenever it comes out on Friday. That's usually what I do. I'm usually in a meeting, but it's something that I can start chatting with them. We can schedule a call. We can do a lot of different things, but it's just a good forcing function to, reconnect with them. I need to take off the Vanguard thing. Really, we're just building up our community leaders. That was something we tried on our social media fire team, and we're really just going to focus on our community leaders this year. So that's everything. Really appreciate it. See, I kept under 15 minutes. All right. Thanks.